Very much, Abby. Indeed, Ernst & Young has released their 2019 African Attractiveness Report, specifically focusing on East Africa as well. So the report combines data on foreign direct investment activity across different regions. Now, the main focus is the number of projects which have been invested in, jobs created through the same, as well as the capital injected. So let's take a look at what some of the details are, of course. Now, first of all, the foreign direct investment projects that were taking place within the whole continent as of last year were about 710. Now, this added up to about $75.5 billion in capital being injected, and it's creating roughly 170,000 jobs. Now, overall, East Africa's GDP growth outpaced the rest of the continent's other regions. Now, if we look at Kenya's GDP growth, it has been marked at 5.5 this year, which is a dip from the 6.4 of 2018. Let's take a look at some more information with regards to this, and we'll move on, of course, to what exactly was invested in. We look at some of the main areas. We're looking at service projects majorly, and those encompass about 2/3 of the majority of investments. Now, when we look at that, services include retail, financial services, telecommunications, media, technology, business services, and life science as well. So Kenya actually remains the dominant FDI recipient country in East Africa. But let's take a look at who are the major investors. If we'll take a look at that right now for you, we look at the major investors across East Africa. We begin with the US, about $7.8 billion of investment made in the last year when it comes to foreign direct investments, followed by China at $6.7 billion. India comes in next with 2.0 billion shillings. The United Kingdom at just $1.5 billion, that is dollars. And we'll also take a look now at the largest recipients across Africa. Egypt had about $12 billion. Nigeria, investments worth $8 billion. Morocco follows with $5 billion. And we'll move forward now to South Africa at 5 as well. And finally, Kenya with $2 billion worth of the largest recipients of investments in East Africa. But let's take a look now at what the report is saying when it comes to the future and what needs to be taken more into consideration when looking at foreign direct investment. Well, power infrastructure is critical. Another thing that the report has actually highlighted is that digital infrastructure investment needs to be the key focus as well. If we look at other factors, the trade war between the US and China could impact some of these factors as well, which also need to be taken into consideration. Brexit trade implications are also part of the other suggestions that have come through via the report. And finally, the Africa Free Trade Agreement. It's definitely been looked at favorably, and it's set to boost growth according to what the report is saying, and there is optimism around that. Well, that has been a look at the Africa Attractiveness